Hello everyone, welcome to Fog's Cards and Things. We're ready to break boxes and rip packs. But first we need you to subscribe to our channel. Like this video. It lets us know to keep making videos like this. It costs you nothing, but it means the world to me. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, you, subscribe, like, hit the button so we can get onto the cards. Alright, there you go. Thank you so much. Now let's get ripping. Hi everybody. Welcome back to Fog's Cards and Things. Today we're going to break another box. Today's going to be a 1989 Score Rack Pack box. This box is huge. Each pack contains 48 cards. It says trivia cards and young superstar glossy card per pack. So I'm going to show you what these look like before we open one up. They've got 3 separate areas. For 48 cards, so I'm assuming each one has about 16 cards in it. And I'm going to go ahead and open this first one here, just so we can get a look at the cards, and then I'll probably do 2 or 3 at a time after that. But this is a 1989 Rack Pack box. Most of what we've done in these is just the regular retail packs, and that's about it. So let's get a look at some of these cards and see if we recognize anybody. Wally Joyner is a good first baseman for the Angels in here, but also played for the Royals for a while. Not a bad player for sure. Ricky Henderson. We always know a PC old Ricky. Card's not bad centered either. Let me sleeve him up and then we'll get a look at the actual card here from Ricky. So he's with the Yankees. I'll zoom in a little bit just so you can get a look at the cards a little better. With the Yankees in this one. Positioned down below with the team. In the back has another picture. Stats back to 1979 for Ricky. By this point he'd been in for a little while. So we're excited to see him on the 3rd card already. That's pretty good. We're going to put him down here in our front row. Front row Ricky. All right, let's see what else we have here. I'm just going to fly through any of the commons that we see. There was Ozzie Guillen in there. 1989 rookie Tim Jones. Al Leader, this must be our glossy, I don't know if you can tell, our glossy young player. Al Leader. Certainly did like these cards. We've got Cecil Fielder here. Cecil Fielder. I used to think it was Cecil Fielder, but then I've heard people pronounce it another way lately, so we'll sleeve up old Cecil Fielder. There's a Hall of Famer for us. Bert Blyleven. Mumphrey, Dave Schmidt. Bill Pecota for the Royals. You know I'm going to PC the Royals if you've tuned in before. Bobby Witt. He's got a son who's not too bad at baseball these days. Tommy John. Has a surgery named after him. Jim Eisenreich. Designated hitter with the Royals. Terry Francona. Mark Williamson. And a couple of these we've seen already here. Jose De Leon, good pitcher there for the Cardinals. Jamie Moyer, good pitcher there for the Cubs. Did you ever break any of these boxes or look at any of these cards? Did you have a favorite one? Paul Gibson there pitching for the Tigers. I've pulled out these. They're trivia cards. A year to remember, and then it's 1932. And then it kind of talks a little bit about some things from that year. So decent little inserts, just not something I'm going to go over all of them there. So we're going to try to go a couple of these at a time so we don't just rip the cards all day. Go a little bit faster now. But if you're watching, I appreciate you coming by. Hopefully you can subscribe and like to the video. See any cards you like, drop us a comment, send us a message. We'll do our best to see if we can get you some of those cards you like, work something out. There will definitely be some decent cards here today. This 1989 score pack has a lot of players in it, especially with 48 cards in each rack pack. I'm going to try to drop the trivia cards out of there. All right, let's go through this next stack here. Robin Yao, he's a Hall of Famer. Mike Schmidt. Good cards there to start off this little series. 1989 rookie for the Royals. Randy Johnson rookie. It's nice we ran into that already. It's a good card. We'll put him on that second row there. Randy Johnson rookie already. We're only in the second rack pack here. Tim Belcher, good pitcher for the Dodgers. Kirby Puckett. Kirby's a heck of a player. IPC Kirby Puckett. Fun to watch when I was a kid. All right, let's see what else we've got here. Andy Van Slyke. BJ Suroff. Bob Walk. Mike Davis, outfielder for the Dodgers. Mario Soto pitching for the Dodgers there. Scott Bradley, David Cohn pitching for the Mets. Tom Candiotti. Todd Benzinger had a pretty long career as a journeyman player. Fun to watch. Played for the Royals for a while. Dave Henderson. He played for a long time. Don Gordon. Cameron Drew, 1989 rookie. All right. Drop these trivia cards out of here. There are 3 trivia cards in every rack pack. Alvin Davis. Chili Davis. Fernandez. Got a duplicate there of Cecil Fielder. Burt Blyleven again, duplicate. Some neat looking cards. I think that's our glossy card there on Greg Jeffries. Chris Sabo. Ellis Burks had a long career. Tanana. Tim Wallach. Got some good players here. Kevin Seitzer there for the Royals. Kirk Gibson had a good career. Bobby Bonilla, the $1 Million Man, still gets a paycheck. I think it's July 1st every year for $1 million. Deferred $5 or $6 million contract to get $1 million over 20 years. Bill Dakota for the Royals. So we think about him every summer when he gets paid. $20 million deferred. Wow, Gary Sheffield rookie card. It's a good looking card right there. Good rookie year here. We've already got a Randy Johnson rookie. Picked up that Sheffield. Good rookie cards there. All right. Gonna try to scoot these commons over a little bit. Get a couple more packs open here. Get one more pack open and then we'll start going through the stacks again. If you were collecting cards back then, who was the big hit for you? Was it, who we all were going after? People nationally, or were you a fan of some local players that not many people were PCing at that time? It's always interesting to me to hear who players were going for back then. Here's a reason that you don't buy these for the value, to try to sell them, straight out of the pack. That one's got a bent corner there, so it's very hard to PC 10 any of these cards from this decade or junk wax era, but still fun. If you're after cards, it's much better to just go buy the cards you're after. Dave Righetti, get them for a few bucks on eBay. Doug Drabeck is our, looks like our shiny card in this one. Rick Rhoden pitching for the Yankees there. Tim Leary. Rick Anderson for the Royals. Doug Jennings. Jamie Quirk catching. A couple rookies here. Norm Charlton. Cameron Drew again. Luis De Los Santos for the Royals. Kirby Puckett again. Second time we've seen him. Cal Ripken Jr. Another one. Good PC for me. Put him down there with Ricky Henderson. Kirk Gibson, second time we've seen him. Bonilla, we've seen him. Gene Nelson, good pitcher. Fernando Valenzuela, Hall of Fame pitcher. Castillo, Chuck Finley, good pitcher for the Angels. Wade Boggs, 1988 highlight, followed by a Oral Hershiser. Both players IPC. So neat to get them already. We're still here in the first third of this stack. And then I don't know if you saw it, but we got this Oral Hershiser right behind him on the 1988 highlight card. All right, let's go through this next pack. Try to get these trivia cards out of here. There we go. All right. Alan Trammell, good player for the Tigers. Mark Davidson. John Kruk, good player there. Time with some Padres. Harold Baines. Jamie Moyer, we've seen him. Bankhead. John Smoltz, great pitcher. Good John up there. King Griffey Sr. with the Reds. Here's our high gloss young player, Damon Berryhill. Candy Maldonado. Chet Lemon. Keith Hernandez, heck of a player for the Mets there. Barfield. Horton. John Candelaria. Eric Show. Dave Parker. Danny Tartable for the Royals. Mark Eichhorn. Craig Biggio. What year did Biggio come in? Now, this would have been the second year card for Biggio. Good player there for the Astros. Second year card. Chris Bosio. Jim Gott. Roger Clemens. We just lost our box. Roger Clemens here. Let's see the rest of these. George Bell, good player. Trio. And Danny Cox for the Cardinals. Get a couple more packs of these opened up here. Yeah, some great players already. Like I was saying, we're not even. Well, we might be a third of the way through now. All right, let's see what we've got here in the first rack pack. Lose those. Whoops. 3 trivia cards. All right, Walling here. Allenson, Ruben Sierra, good player for the Rangers. Barry Bonds, another great player. 4th-year card for Bonds. All right. David Cone here on our high gloss. Kind of a younger player highlight during these 1989 score packs. Paul Molitor, Hall of Famer. George Brett. It's a good pickup. Love George Brett. Definitely PC old George. Andres Galarraga, Hojo, Howard Johnson. Bud Black pitching for the Indians. He had some good years. Pat Tabler for the Royals. Tony Pena for the Cardinals. Kevin Mitchell. Griffin. Dwayne Bice. Glenn Braggs. Ken Phelps for the Mariners. Geraltz. Tibbs. Smiley. Andres Thomas. Smithson. Dave Gallagher. Rex Hudler. And Brady Anderson for the Orioles. All right, get some of these commons out of there. All right, let's get the trivia cards out of here and see what we can look at next. Gary Gaetti, good journeyman player for a long time. Darryl Strawberry. Robin Yount again, second time we've seen him. Mike Schmidt, we've seen him. Heath. Neil Heaton. LaPointe. Jalar. Zane Smith. I think that's our high gloss card maybe. Perlman. Jim Eisenreich, second time we've seen him. No, this is our high gloss card. Joey Meyer. Jose Uribe. Steve Sachs. Carney Lansford. Mark Langston. Greg Gagne. A lot of good cards already from this year. Sandy Alomar rookie card. He was a good rookie. Ellis Burks. Fred McGriff. Good pickup. Mark McGuire. Good card for Mark McGuire. The card's in pretty good shape. Nicely centered. Luis Rivera. Stan Javier. Bob Boone. Catcher for the Angels there. All right, I'll get some of these trivia cards out of here. We'll get a couple more packs, see how we're doing. I already had a lot of great pickups there. Mark McGuire, one of the highlights from that set of packs. Always good to get a Mark McGuire. Got a George Brett. Barry Bonds. Got a lot of the players that I PC'd then, and some I still PC. Over time, it kind of changes. Sometimes you add somebody who didn't realize was as good as they were, and sometimes your tastes just change. Daryl Strawberry used to be one-eyed PC, but changed to not. Had some good cards and some good baseball. Just couldn't get out of his own way sometimes. The 3 trivia cards there. All right. Greg Walker, Dave Stewart again, Rock Raines, Tim Rock Raines, Joe Carter, Pete Smith, Dwight Evans, Harold Reynolds. Whoa. Another great card here, Bo Jackson for the Royals in this 1989 score set. I think it was 91, 92 when he went to the White Sox. But great player. Tim Belcher, Dan Quisenberry, Batista, Mark Grace on the high gloss. Jose Lynn, Lenny Dykstra, Larry Sheets. Picking up a lot of good cards. The Bo Jackson, I don't know if he just pushed his body too far, too much without a break. But super promising athlete and a great guy by all accounts. Love to see his cards. 1988 highlight there, the AL win streak. Ryan Sandberg. Passed away not too long ago, but I still love to get his cards. Vaughn Hayes, Bo Diaz, Dennis Boyd pitching for the Red Sox, Darren Dalton, Honeycutt, Leach, Mark Parent, Odell Jones. All right. Next pack, here we go. Trivia cards. Whoops, and lost a couple along the way. Get those trivia cards out of the way. Trevino, Pete O'Brien, Fisher, Kurt Stillwell for the Royals, Sean Dunston, player for the Cubs, clear, Jerry Reed, Nipper, Ricky Jordan, Clyburn, Stapleton, Greg Jeffries on that shiny young player highlight, Willie McGee, good player for the Cardinals, Glenn Braggs, good player for the Brewers, got Charlie Leibrandt, pitcher for the Royals, Bobby Meacham, Rangers rookie catcher, Luis Medina rookie card, Craig Worthington, Barry Larkin. Barry Larkin was a good player. Jack Morris pitching for the Tigers there. Jimmy Key. Oh, got a couple more. Bob McClure, Al Leader. Some good cards there. Bo Jackson's really nice. Looks like a well-centered card, too. Now, like I said, these cards aren't worth more than $1 or $2 on their own. If they're in perfect shape, they might be worth a little something, but just to those of us who still collect them, I'm sure. Get this other pack opened up here. Probably approaching the halfway point of this 1989 score set. I'd like to know what cards out of there you would take if you were able to. Like I said, you drop a comment, send us a message. We'll try to see if we can work something out and get you that card if you're after one. We put some up in our Discord, put some on eBay, but we try to work out something before they get put there. All right, Willie McGee, Jim Rice, good player. Whoops. Tony Gwynn, also a good player. I'm Barry Bonds again. Good looking card. Let's see what else we've got. Ramirez, Brett Butler, he had a good career. Gene Larkin, Honeycutt, Meacham, Fitzgerald, Lance Blankenship rookie card, Felix Jose rookie card, Tom Prince, Bobby Thigpen on the high gloss young player highlight, Brian Fisher, Barry Larkin again, second time we've seen Barry Larkin, McGaffigan, Petrie. Some people ask why I wear gloves when I open them. Just keeps the oil off of them. Just know, if you do end up wanting a card from us, we've never touched them. Just leave some of them as we're opening them, and the rest when we shut down. Glenn Braggs, Lee Brand again. Todd Worrell, good pitcher for the Cardinals. Tim Belcher, Dalton. Luis Medina, Chad Worthington, and Ron Jones on the rookies. Tim Rock Raines, Ryan Sandberg again. The second time we've seen Ryan. Pete Smith pitching for the Braves. Charlie O. Harold Reynolds, good player for the Mariners. Tim Belcher, Tim Cruz, Quisenberry again, also pitched for the Royals. Mark Parent, Brian Harvey on the high gloss. Al Dreet, not a bad player. Lenny Dykstra, Wallace Johnson, Nolan Ryan. First time we've seen Nolan Ryan pitching here for the Astros. Quite the pitcher. Don August, Smiley, Thomas, Tom Bolton, Mike Boddicker, trio. Quintana on the rookie, Hayes, AL Streak again, Glenn Hubbard, Greg Walker, Dave Stewart, Andy Hawkins, Joe Carter, Frank Viola, good pitcher there. Wes Gardner, Jimmy Key, Al Leader, John Franco, good pitcher there for the Reds. Steve Shields. All right. Got a couple cards we'd seen already. Got another Barry Bonds, Ryan Sandberg. So you usually sell these in complete sets also. The downside is you only get one of every player. The upside is you get at least one card from every player. So they have some score complete sets you can buy and typically get a pretty good deal on if you are after the whole set. Alright, let's see here. This last group open up here. Drop some trivia cards out of there. Late 80s, early 90s, who were your players of choice? There's a Fred McGriff for the second time. Mark McGwire for the second time. We'll sleeve up McGwire. All right, let's see what else we've got. Gaetti, Doc Gooden, great pitcher. Roden, let's see. Mickey Hatcher, Gerhardt, Petrelli. Doug Jones on the highlight. 1988 highlight there for Jose Canseco. Good looking card. I hope he makes it into the Hall of Fame someday. QB Brooks, good player. Rebay. Wade Boggs. I think that's the first Wade Boggs we've seen. I bought the 89 score rack pack because it wasn't something I'd seen a lot of. Valenzuela again. I hadn't seen the rack packs, and definitely came with a lot of cards. Sandy Alomar rookie card for the second time. Darryl Strawberry, talked about him earlier. Good player. Tim Burke. Roberto Alomar. Jim Deshay. Daryl Boston, good player there for the White Sox. Eppard. Marshawn. Alright, get some of these commons out of the way. Alright. Second stack out of those packs here. Eddie Murray. Gary Templeton. I think we've seen him already. Glenn Davis. Tony Phillips. Lou Whitaker, good player for the Tigers. Dunston again. Jack Morris again. Junior Ortiz, he's a good catcher for the Pirates. Mike Harkey. DeCenzo rookie card. Melindo Perez, Von Hayes, Dwight Evans, Bo Diaz. Another Bo Jackson. We got two of the most desired players for me anyway. I got a couple McGuires, a couple Bo Jacksons. I wish we'd get a second George Brett. Like to be able to pass that on to somebody if that's something they're after here. Marabella rookie card. Terry Clark. Larry Sheets. RJ Reynolds for the Pirates. Jeff Reardon. Dan Plesac. Bruce Hurst. Mike Smithson. Brian Harper. Tom Foley. Dobson. Maholland. Malaki on the rookie card. And Brennan. A couple more packs here. If you do decide to buy one of the cards, either Discord here, just know we're not out to make money. We just buy more boxes. So not cheap to get a bunch of these boxes. We've been through, I don't know how many breaks we've done so far, but we've done quite a few. Definitely something I enjoy doing, but being able to sell a few of the cards definitely helps. Continuing this. Besides, no one needs this many cards on their own. Get those first set of trivia cards out. We'll go for the next one here. Appreciate you coming by. If you stuck with us this long, I really hope you subscribe to the channel, like the video, follow. It means a lot. Doesn't cost you anything, but it means the world to me. Billy Hatcher, Webster, Kurt Stillwell for the Royals, White, Tim Burke, Roberto Alomar again, Jerry Don Gleaton, Bryn Smith, Fred Tolliver, Donnell Nixon, Daryl Miller, Randy Johnson, another rookie card for old Randy. Dave West on the 89 rookie. Dwight Smith. Jeff Parrott on the high gloss. Brooke Jacoby. Wade Boggs again. Second time we've seen Wade Boggs. Raleigh. Vince Coleman. Gary Carter. Dave Smith. Guillen. Rick Shue. Craig Reynolds. Tracy Woodson, Albert Hall, McCullers, Storm Davis. He had a decent journeyman career as a pitcher. Sid Fernandez for the Mets. Mark Clear. Hammaker. Stan Jefferson. Gerald Clark and Froworth on the rookies. All right, second stack from this bunch. McDowell, Steve Sachs, Vince Coleman, Rich Goose Gossage, good pitcher. Craig Biggio again, second time we've seen Craig. Bosio, Moses, Robinson, Ward, Winnington, Wellman for the Royals. Blocker, Buddy Bell, Greg Jeffries, Mark Grace on the high gloss. Dawson, Walt Weiss, Barfield, Rick Horton, Storm Davis, Sid Fernandez for the Mets, Barry Jones, Damon Berryhill, Dakota for the Royals, Bobby Witt again, Tommy John. These tend to go in order if you pay attention. Their collation wasn't real good at this time. You can predict the cards, which is why if these rack packs are open, you don't want to buy them. People can pull out the ones, especially if they know the order, which, like I said, it's not hard to figure out if you've opened some of them. Get the commons out of the way, and then we'll open up a couple more packs. All right, a few more to go here. It's a lot of cards, so this video is longer than normal, but like I said, if you have hung out with us this long, I certainly appreciate it. The least we can do is try to get you some of the cards you're after. All right, get some of these trivia cards out of here. All right, let's see what these two rack packs have in for us. Hubie Brooks, Uribe, McDowell, Templeton, Glenn Davis, Tony Phillips, Bob Boone, good catcher there for the Angels. Neil Heaton, Epson, Tabler again for the Royals. Alan Anderson, Tom Glavine, good pitcher there, Tom Glavine. Riles, Leonard, Steve Sachs, Mitch Williams on the high gloss. Shelby, Dave Parker, Danny Tartable for the Royals again. Greg Gagne, Rob Murphy. Tibbs, Maddox, Rick Cerrone, good catcher there for the Red Sox. Chuck Finley, Mike Greenwell, Galarraga, Hojo, Kelly Downs, Collins, Nipper, Eric Plunk, Armstrong, Rio, John Tudor, Danny Jackson. Well, that pack, aside from Tom Glavine, wasn't all that good. Let's see what this pack has here. Trammell, good player for the Tigers on top. Vance Law, Mark Davidson, Mike Scotia. Greg Maddox, another good pitcher there for the Cubs. Played for them twice, I think. Swindell, Witt, Pena, Perez. King Griffey Sr. again, Mike Diaz, Charlie O'Brien, Roberto Alomar on the high gloss. We've seen that one 2 or 3 times. Horner, Wally Joyner, Ricky Henderson again. We'll sleeve up Ricky, even though that one's off center, left to right. Fujita, Swift, Caviglia, Henneman, Greg Brock, Sutton, Dave Anderson, Portugal, Hesketh, Musselman, Darwin, Dempsey, Chris Sabo, Gerald Perry, Ellis Burks, Henry Cotto, Herr, Mookie Wilson, Tom Hinkie, Stanley, Diego, Minton, Leo, John Davis, Canseco for the second time on the 1988 highlight. I haven't seen a Canseco card yet. Again, we've seen 2 Bo Jacksons, but just 1 George Brett. We've seen 2 Mark McGuires, 2 of the Canseco highlight cards. Duplicates of some of the Hall of Famers, Robin Yount, Paul Molitor, Tony Gwynn. Actually, I don't know if Molitor made it in yet. I really think he will, but not sure if he has yet or not. Definitely takes a while opening the rack pack boxes. There's just so many cards, which is a good thing. That's what we're after all, is the cards. Just takes a while to go through them. But I have fun doing it. Hopefully you're enjoying as well. Don Gladden, Ken Williams, Rafael Palmeiro for the Cubs, Brenley, Mike Jackson, Mike Maddox, Bruce Benedict, Wilkerson, Steve Trout for the Mariners, Gary Sheffield, second time on his rookie card, Sandy Alomar, third time on his rookie card, I think. Thick pen on the high gloss. Fred McGriff, second time we've seen him. Mark McGuire, that might be our 3rd McGuire. Good looking card. Well, except there's something on the top of it. Another reason. There's a spot and kind of a chip. So some of the better cards you're after sometimes have marks on them, which is unfortunate, but we've got 2 others. So Darrell Evans, Riviera, Javier, Lyons, Mullenix, Frank White, partially responsible for the Chiefs and probably the Royals leaving Kansas City. At least going to the Kansas side. Carney Langsford for the A's. Had a good career. Cerrone again. Thigpen again. Pena. Clancy. Salas. Skinner. Furman. Oyster. And Terry Blocker. Alright, second pack from that set here. Glenn Wilson. McCaskill. Carney Langsford again. Mark Langston pitching for them. Oh, there we go. Mariners is what I was getting ready to say before we ran into another Bo Jackson here. 3 of those. Again, good looking card. Certainly wish we'd come up with a double of George Brett, but can't be greedy. It's been a nice box so far, especially with the Johnson Royal, or the Randy Johnson rookie, Gary Sheffield rookie, John Smoltz again, second time we've seen him, Brady Anderson on the high gloss, Tim Tuffle, Wallace Johnson, Tom Hinkie, Stan Javier, Gross, Junior Ortiz again for the Pirates, Sutcliffe, Bud Black, Buhner, Moore, Scott, Ballard, Browning, Eric Davis for the Reds, good player. Rafael Palmeiro again, Charlie Ho, Harold Reynolds, Wally Backman, Scott Terry, Alan Anderson, Eric Plunk again, Darrell Boston for the White Sox, had a good career. Bobby Witt, Tom Browning, Ricky Henderson on the highlight. Rob Dibble, he's a good pitcher. Although, if you see here, don't know what happened to that corner, but not in good shape. Have to put that one to the side, but we will sleeve up old Ricky Henderson. Don't know if we've seen a Canseco or a Ricky base card. Well, we've got 4 rack packs left. So one more set of cards after we get through these 2. What's the highlight card for you that would make you want to rip these? Anything you're missing from your PC on any players or teams? I know I was missing a couple of these, so definitely exciting for me to get into them. All right. Get this put away and pull out some trivia cards, and we'll see what we've got here in our last 4 rack packs. All right, Mike Greenwell, Marty Barrett, Bob Horner, Rob Murphy. Oh, sorry, couldn't see the names there, could you? And refocus. Stanley, Lyons, Skinner, Todd Stottlemyre, decent pitcher for the Blue Jays, blocker, Buddy Bell, Greg Jeffries, Alan Anderson on the high gloss, Dawson, Daniels, Benny Santiago, he's a good catcher, Virgil, Dave Collins, Atherton, Todd Benzinger, Dennis Lamp, Mike Schooler, good pitcher for the Mariners, Terry Francona again, Wade Boggs, 1988 highlight. So I think we've seen a Boggs base card and a Boggs highlight card. Wally Joyner, Ricky Henderson. Actually, we had seen the Ricky base card. Sometimes I lose track out of all these packs. Then I recognize it. Scotia Sisk, Dennis Eckersley, feared pitcher. Jeff Robinson, Mullinix, Frank White again for the Royals. Roberto Kelly had a decent career. Paul Gibson, by decent, I mean a heck of an athlete. It's not a judgment on them at all, because obviously they made it on a pro sports team and I did not. So it's really just perspective on something like that. Just going to go ahead and open up these final 2 packs to clear some room on this left side. All right, so we basically have 3 packs left to see if we can hit another George Brett or any of our other big cards. Won't sneeze at any of them. But the Canseco base card, I really don't think we've seen. I remember seeing the Ricky after seeing that one, but all right, that's better. Put those on the left side. There we go. All right. Nipper, Henneman, Ron Gant, decent player for the Braves, Polonia, Nipper, Ricky Jordan, Clyburn, Oral Hershiser on the 1988 highlight, Blauser, Rafael Palmeiro on the high gloss, Dan Gladden, Greg Maddux for the second time, Claudel Washington, Henry Cotto, Rafael Santana, Cerruti, Salazar, Doug Jones, LaPointe, Atherton, Holton, Flannery, Salazar, Tim Jones, a rookie card. Norm Charlton, Johnny Ray, Paul O'Neill, great player for the Reds. It says he's the outfield, but definitely in the infield there. Gruber, Marshall, Greg Brock, Gantner, Rick Aguilera, Allen, Jay Howe, good pitcher for the Dodgers. Austin Mocker, Grain, Burns, Key, Woodson, Hill, Don Mattingly, Diamond Don. His card's off center, top to bottom, and also a little right to left, but forgot we had not seen a Diamond Don there. Julio Franco had a good career. And Buckner for the Royals on the backside of that one. All right, let's get rid of these last 6 trivia cards here. Take the final steps to the end of these cards. I certainly appreciate you hanging out with us if you've been here the whole time. Really hope you'll subscribe to the channel, like the video. Cost you nothing, but it means the world to me to know people are interacting and enjoying it, and motivates me to want to keep making these videos. So hope you'll consider that. Daniel's here, Benny Santiago, Don Mattingly again, second time. Lee Smith, who's a good pitcher for the Red Sox there. Knight, Elser, Todd Worrell, Gene Larkin, Tim Leary, pitching for the Dodgers. Donnie Hill, Keith Miller on the high gloss, Dave Martinez, Rob Deere, Ozzie Smith. There's another one we hadn't seen. Osborne Ozzie Smith. It's a good looking card from Ozzie. All right. Rookies here, Joel Youngblood, Kevin Remine, Petrie, Hawkins, Joe Carter again, Krim, Mumfree, Dave Schmidt pitching for the Orioles. Blankenship rookie card for the A's, Gary Pettis. Matt Noakes catching for the Tigers. Jose De Leon, good pitcher for the Cardinals. Got a second Nolan Ryan. Actually, we'll sleeve that one up. Good card of Nolan Ryan there. Jeff Reardon, Plesac, Don Van Gleeten, Zane Smith, Mario Soto. 88 highlight. First night game. And Greenwell with the 88 highlight. All right. Our last rack pack here. Go over some of the bigger hits when we're done here. Tanana, Wallach, Kilgus, Jack McDowell, Roger Clemens a second time. Sleeve up Roger. Tom Clancy, Salas, Skinner, Ballard, Browning. Whoa, high gloss Bo Jackson. After all the bows we've seen, only saw one of this high gloss. That's a very cool card. Young Superstar. Bo knows. Ernie Witt, Guzman, Pendleton, Kennedy, Farrell, Moore, Matthews, Mickey Tettleton, good catcher for the Orioles. Balboni there. Walling, Higuera, Floyd Bannister pitching for the Royals. Brett Saberhagen pitching for the Royals. Still seeing some new cards. That's a good thing. A lot of cards in this set, I would imagine. Steve Trout pitching for the Mariners. Jeff Hamilton, Rasmussen, and Terry Pull. So some pretty awesome cards. We're going to go over just a few of them here. I won't go over all the Royals for you. That really only matters to me, I'm sure. All right, let's let's see the highlights from this poll. Mike Schmidt, Kirby Puckett, Cecil Fielder, Wade Boggs, Earl Hershiser, Wade Boggs again on the highlight, Kyle Ripken Jr., Ricky Henderson, Ozzie Smith, Wade Boggs the second time. I sleep 2 of those. Ryan Sandberg, Mark McGuire, Barry Bonds, Clemens, Bonilla, Kirk Gibson, Dave Henderson, Randy Johnson on the rookie card. I think we got 2 of those. Lee Smith, Diamond Don Mattingly, Eric Davis, Greg Maddox, Tom Glavine, Darryl Strawberry, Canseco on the 88 highlight, Dwight Doc Gooden, Nolan Ryan, Barry Larkin, Fred McGriff, Sandy Alomar rookie card, Darryl Strawberry, Craig Biggio, John Smoltz, Gary Sheffield, Robin Yount, Burt Blyleven, Tony Gwynn, Jim Rice, Paul Molitor. And the 2 highlights for me will be the George Brett card, which we only saw 1 of, Bo Jackson on the high gloss, and then Bo Jackson on the base. If you hung out with us, I appreciate it. Spending some time with us. Hope you like, subscribe. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully see you next time. God bless.